Right. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we got a special show. We have a special guest, someone that most people that watch the platform is familiar with from her appearances on the Poetry Corner. However, she's here today to have a discussion with myself and the rest of everyone about her virtual book release. Um, she's a little nervous, so you guys don't realize how nervous sometimes some people can be. So let's try to make her feel comfortable. I told her sometimes during a show you just have to act like you're having a conversation with that person, just basically on computer. So we're gonna try to make her as comfortable as possible. But what's up, Zweena?
Thank you, Q. What's up? I'm doing all right.
You doing all right?
Yes, I'm
Good.
here. Yep.
Got all the cobwebs out. You ain't nervous no more. You a little better.
Not yet. We're here.
All right. Let everybody know your background, where you from, what got you into poetry, and so forth and so on.
Okay, my background. I grew up in Stellar Rights Projects in Newark, New Jersey. I was raised by my aunt, Virginia Allison, and in Prince Street Projects. And once I got a little older, moved away, had some children. I loved poetry ever since I was a kid, and art and poetry is a big part of the community in Newark and hip hop. But that's a conversation for another time. But
No, I
those
mean,
are primary.
I think that that speaks about who you are,
Yeah,
where you're from, having the diverse culture.
yeah,
Coming, I don't think most people know about some of all the great talent that comes out of some of America's housing projects.
hmm,
Sometimes a lot of people just try to focus on all the other stuff, but instead of
right.
focusing on the great talent that comes out, and you happen to come out from one of the areas that a lot of people like to glorify and say it was so bad and this, that, and the third.
Mm,
So you're a product of it wasn't so bad after all.
no,
Which brings us to your first published book.
yes.
Let's talk about that.
Yes, the name of the project is Zweena Still, and a collection of poems and prose on the subject of becoming. And I named it that because growing up, there was a guy that used to call me Zweena, and everyone's always mispronounced my name. So I never really corrected him until one day he told me that Zweena was an Arabic name for beautiful. And then as I lived the rest of the story, um, and I started to get and share my poetry on Instagram and Facebook, I picked up the handle Still Zweena because I wanted to believe that even in spite of things that were going on, I was
So because of the name of your book, it's called Zwina Still, right?
yes, it
So
is.
I put Zwina Still with the hashtag in the book for everyone in the chat. If you hashtag Zwina Still, what you see on the screen, Zwina is doing a giveaway towards the end of the show. Um,
Yes, we are.
and you will receive some interesting giveaways that Zwina has going on. I know that one of them is a copy of the book.
Yes, it is. It is.
What
One
was
is a copy of the book.
okay?
It's actually a gift box signed copy of the book with a couple of extra treats inside of it. Um, hey, Reese. Oh, hello. Hi, everybody. Uh, the other giveaways are going to be I'm having a live book launch, um, and it would be tickets to that open mic event and also a gift card. So stay active, stay involved. I appreciate it.
So as you guys in the chat may not know, you see Nicole just put the hashtag Zweena still. That's all you have to do is hashtag Zweena still in the chat, and this is how you enter the giveaway, and we'll do the giveaway a little later. Now, as you were saying, Zweena,
Yes. So where was I? Back to my, a little bit about myself. So growing up in Prince Street, my aunt, Virginia Allison, actually raised myself, my brother, and 9 children of her own.
mm.
And she had this old saying where you have to get your sheepskin, which was no matter what was going around you, you had to get a college education. So my background is in accounting, and I worked at Merrill Lynch as a broker for a while. But you know, my joy and passion has always been writing. It's kind of like a personal therapy, and that's what this book really is for me. It's like a collection of events that I wrote about, and myself and my editor, the amazing Jules of Crown Jules. That's my girl. She we came up with the idea of organizing it in like a growth process where it starts out with the soil, and that's the dirt, all of the those gritty poems that are pretty sad sometimes, and then there's the seed, which is the second chapter that's called I Am Mother, you know, and then we have the Me to Me files, which is those poems that I feel like are encouraging, because I feel like a lot of times we need that even when we're going through some darker things. Warrior Women is a chapter that's dedicated to some of the strong women that I come from. I'm myself, I'm 5'11", and I'm one of the shorter women in my family. So we come from, that strong stock from the South, and the stories that come with them. I haven't even begun to touch bases on them, but I felt like I couldn't go through this without giving an homage to them.
so let
Uh,
me so let me ask you. So your book is a compilation of a bunch of poems that you've written over the years.
it is. It
I
is.
mean, you had notebooks. How many notebooks you got in the stash?
If I were to show you, there's a lot. There are a lot. I tried to grab only the ones that I thought would resonate most with someone else, because I know there were times when I was writing or, experiencing life that I just wish someone would say something that I can feel like they understood what I was going through. So as I was compiling those things and writing more pieces on that subject, that's really what I felt like I wanted to bring to this book. So that's how we organized it.
So when
Yeah.
you and Julia was just figure when you were doing it because Julia wasn't with you. I know when
Right.
she gave you the idea, like, look, you got to compile your poems, and when you were compiling your poems and deciding this would make the cut for the book, and you had to reread them. How
hmm
did it make you feel reading old poems and being like, this is where I was at this point in my life? Like, does it
Um,
make you be like looking at it like I was there?
yes, I say it all the time. It's like I really can't read through it without experiencing those things, you know? And a lot of times if to understand the background of them, it's like sitting with a person or sitting with an experience instead of just walking past it. So maybe I was not screaming. I'm the type of person where everybody's like, "Oh, you're so quiet. You let things go past." But I will burn up a notebook and a pen just just getting those emotions and those feelings out. So yeah.
So you got all these poems, got all the older poems, and did you
hmm
write any new ones for the book, or you just said I'm gonna go with what's in my library?
Well, actually, the last chapter, I am becoming. Excuse me. With the semicolon, that is because a big influence on me writing this book was and a big change in my life that kind of forced a lot of the subjects that I wrote about was losing my daughter Natea to suicide in 2019, and it 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 broke me.
Hmm.
It really did. It broke every sense of reality that I had at the time, but it also was, rebuilding my sense of self after that is a big influence on the last two chapters. So I am still Zweena is like a lot of those poems where it's like, hey, I may not be perfect. I may have to live in a room full of, you know, as we often do, a room full of the ghosts of our past or whatever, and they are in these books, and I am sharing them. But I am still Zweena is I am still beautiful. The collection is still beautiful, and I want to believe that there is still beauty in spite of those other things that have happened. And I am becoming is I feel like that chapter is dedicated to all of those pieces are new, and all of them are like more of a directive for me in a cycle of becoming. It's like deciding that
So through tragedy, there has been triumph.
exactly in the poem The Black Cats, I think that is in the final chapter I am becoming, and it's really rounded out. It's kind of like, a way of saying talking to you. It's a back and forth dialogue between myself and the things that you say in regular conversations versus the ones that you don't say.
So
And
anyone in the chat willing to purchase the book, this is the link to Amazon on the screen, and this is the way that you could purchase the book. Or if you would like to enter our beautiful contest to try to win a signed copy of the book, um, like I said, you could put hashtags Win the Still, and we are going to do a giveaway a little later during the show. So, excuse me for interrupting you, Zweena. What were you saying?
oh, no problem.
So through tragedy, it was triumph, and you said that was like that situation was like, okay, this is the bottom, this is the worst that I've ever experienced, or the worst that it can get, and so now you started to rebuild yourself up. Like, okay, this is what I need to do.
Right.
And,
Exactly. So the last two chapters, after we went with Warrior Women, it's kind of like an homage. It's identifying your roots. And then I Am Still Zweena is like the blossoming of a new perspective of yourself. Like, before I felt like, I gotten beat up so much on through the things and through especially the experience of losing her and trying to keep my family together and things like that. And then I Am Becoming is kind of like, hey, this is what it is, and let's talk about it. Let's start having honest conversations, because the biggest inspiration for this book is saying that, like, we can make words sound pretty all day long, but there are some honest way, it's an honest way to talk about things that aren't so easy to talk about. So I hope that they open up more dialogues about mental health and awareness of that sort.
definitely, definitely. And for those in the chat, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Remember to hit the love emoji. Very important. It's how the algorithm, how Zweena's story, and how this broadcast could be seen. We do have two of your poems here. Um,
Yes.
it's amazing that one of your poems caught my eye before during the
Right.
poetry corner, and I told you I really liked it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the name of the poem. I'm
Okay.
just gonna, I'm just going to play it, and
Okay.
and for those in the chat, if you've never heard Zwena's poems, she comes with a certain amount of energy. If you've ever heard her on the poetry corner, she speaks real fast, and I laugh, not laughing at her. I laugh because she puts a lot of emotion,
Yeah.
raw emotion in her poems, and she'd be like wanting to get across so fast, and she'll be reading her words, and it's like she'll fumble over her own words that she wrote. So it's kind of like you wrote it, you know your own handwriting. So, like I said, sometimes people, even when we were talking about the show,
Hmm.
sometimes a lot of us are very nervous about our content and other people viewing our content because it's a piece of us. It's
Yeah.
a piece of that a lot of us keep private.
Hmm.
So when it becomes public and people view it and she can see reactions from it, um, this plays a lot into how a person thinks they're perceived. And we want you to
Right.
know.
That's
We
true.
want you to know, and let's talk. We really appreciate your work, and hopefully everybody enjoys your work. So we're
Thank
gonna
you.
play the poem that I like the most, and then we'll discuss it.
Okay.
All right.
No problem.
Downtown with your new girl now, flossing
Oh,
like ungrateful tyrants. You called us bitter and call us bitches. It seems convenient timing. Because when we held you down and propped up your crown, you claimed we were putting our time in. We were cheated on and beated on while you grew from boys to men. And now she's just that crazy bitch and you saying we can't be friends. Okay, here's a memo, a newfound credo. Call it a bitter bitch bulletin. It's time you start to look within. Watch your face until you smile again. Understand that this is not the end. You were once a promise to yourself before you gave yourself to him. You gave him things you shouldn't have until you got sick of it. You finally gave up. Now you both fed up. Got you running around spewing bitter shit. Running around town giving undeserving men something he can feel. A foolish plight because you're treating yourself like you don't deserve to heal. And that's real. You're treating your heart like it don't deserve to heal. Repeating the cycle, head in the fan, don't know whether to cry or to swoon. Because your respect is in the basement and your toes are aiming for the moon. Quit banking on some swerve of the hip. Know that looks are all but borrowed. Check how the cipher goes. You'll be the bad bitch today, but you'll be the bitter bitch tomorrow. So to his boys, I'm not your sister. And to his girls, I'm not your threat. Instead of joining Team Bitter Bitch, best see where his head is at. Making promises and losing your identity, throwing yourself on the blade of a toxic relationship, becoming your own worst enemy, accidentally catching your face in the mirror screwed up in the scowl because that wasn't happy and this isn't safe and you're wondering what to do now. You're a bitter bitch, a vapid witch you've been demonized and fondled with, but that's not even the tragic shit. The tragedy isn't accepting it. You weren't meant to be amiable. You taught him how to check his ego. Placed the priority on fostering his dreams, even if it meant letting yours go. Built a dynasty, crying blood, you see, with an arch back on all fours. You're a masterful architect of men. Now it's time to build on yours. Quit sitting back bitter talking shit about how you gave him too much. Quit treating the past like it was your last. That was the rough draft, now for the final cut. Get off your knees, bucking for love. You're not a beggar in the least. Peel out of that self-pity bit and embrace your inner beast. She's neither bitter nor a bitch. She's a force for them to reckon with. Instead of being his worst mistake, be the woman he was born to miss. And peace.
yee. I
Wow.
love that poem. Whoever
Wow.
she was, she got gumption.
Let's talk about that. I mean, I think that poem is very, very powerful, and it speaks to um, some of the things that go on in our community where men and women from prior circumstances become very bitter,
Hmm.
and it doesn't allow them to move forward into what the next phase of their life.
Right,
So you were addressing the bitter woman, but it's applicable for anybody who's bitter.
right.
Let's talk about the psyche of this poem. What?
Well, it was kind of like it's in a chapter called I'm in Charge. And that is more of like, you know, everything that I wanted to say in situations. So I think that it helped me work through the idea that nobody wants to admit it, but we let situations turn us bitter. And until you can, just like with any other growth process and becoming anything, you kind of have to acknowledge where you are and why you're there in order to change anything. So that's why I call it bitter bitch therapy, because it's the therapy of seeing the problem, understanding it a little bit more and how it, you know, presents itself in your life, and then kind of like steps that you can take to step outside of that state of mind.
Do you? It's funny that you addressed earlier about mental health,
Yeah.
and then we decided you decided that you would send me this poem. Do you think that this poem can help someone? Can help somebody see like, yo, you better than the bitterness that you're carrying.
Right. Exactly. Just like in the poem, there's a part when it says like you accidentally catch yourself. You ever catch yourself being just, you don't even realize where you are until you stop for a minute and take a look at yourself. So that's therapeutic in and of itself, to just see it for what it is. And, you know,
As Julia, who we both know,
Yes,
Her favorite phrase when we have a conversation is, "You have to call a thing a thing."
that's
One of
true.
the things that you just said, if you're bitter, I mean, get help. It's okay to be bitter. I think sometimes people don't realize that their bitterness, it's understandable and it's okay, but it's not okay to just live with it, and don't let
Right,
that bitterness define you. So
right.
that poem speaks to that. And like I
Yeah.
said, you guys, if you guys would like to participate in the giveaway, hashtag Zweena still. Um, I don't have no inside information of the giveaway of being you guys. It'll be right on the screen. It's not, as we would say, rigged, but y'all have to watch out for Nicole, because Nicole is one of those people that wins giveaways. I'm telling you
Hey,
guys early.
Nicole.
She's one of those people. And if you'd like to purchase the book, you could just click on that. It's on Amazon. But I would suggest you guys get involved in the giveaway, because you'll have autographed copies of the book. As well,
And
you have some other
also,
stuff you want to give away, right?
uh, yes, it's also a gift card. You can decide what we're going to do with that one, and tickets to the live event. And as far as purchasing the copy, I'm not sure if I told you, but anyone else who wants a signed copy can go to my website, edwinatheauthor.com,
Mm-hmm.
and RSVP, and then your signed copy will be sent out directly to you with a personalized
Nicole said,
message.
"Don't jinx her."
Nicole, you run this.
So, do you want me to do the first giveaway first?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, hashtag. Remember the hashtag, you guys.
Okay.
Hold on. We're gonna start the first giveaway. Okay, hold on. Hold on. 1 second. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna pop it up on the screen for you guys.
Drum roll.
All right, here we go. There's the hashtag. You guys see everything, right? Here we go. It's only 5 entries. Hashtag Zweena still. Come on, you guys. Okay. All right, we're gonna start with the first one. You know what? What's the Zweena? What's gonna be the first giveaway?
Let's do the signed copy of the book first.
Signed copy of the book.
Oh, that's so cool.
M.
Reese!
Reese.
Yay! That's my friend. I'm glad she got it. I'm sorry. I'm not biased, but that's my girl. Thank you, Reese.
That was the winner of the first giveaway.
Okay,
Let me see. Hold
perfect.
on. M. Reese, you are the winner of the first giveaway, and you will be receiving a signed copy of the book, right?
Yes, you will.
Okay. Okay, so now we'll discuss. Hold on.
Hey, Kenya.
Congratulations, M.
You.
Reese. So now we have another poem we're going to discuss, Zweena.
Okay.
Or some epithet to pass the time. I'm feeling like a ball of rage that burns below my rib cage for all the things I've overlooked and every loss I ever took. I want to slap her in her face for making me feel out of place, and I want to squish him like a grape, and instead he gets away with rape. But I've got enough on my plate, and it's unladylike to unpack my hate. It doesn't matter anyway. I got mad stuff to do today. Wait, damn. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm fine. Don't mind me, I just lost my mind. Mommy, are you okay? Yes, of course. It's not like I'm contemplating divorce. A good mother knows it wouldn't be right to consider running away in the dead of the night. At least not for good. That wouldn't be nice. Just an arbitrary length of time to decide if it's his life or mine. Let's read a story. Bake a pie. Get lost inside your childlike mind. Let's play house. Let's pretend we like this cage we're all trapped in. Mommy shouldn't let it slip that you're the reason I put up with this. Your happiness, my sacrifice. He pays the bills, comes home at night. The rest is fine. I'm fine. Good night. He sprayed for bed bugs. They won't bite. I look in the mirror, but not at my reflection. I break it down into little sections. Wash my face and brush my teeth. Avoid the eyes looking back at me. If I asked her how she really felt, my resolve would all but melt. She asked, when have you checked on you? And there is just too much to do. I assure myself I don't have time to find out if I'm doing fine or feeling fine. Not really fine. I mean, I know that I'm going to be all right. God's on my side. I'll toe the line. She won't ask questions I won't ask. She won't answer questions I won't ask. I won't see through the looking glass. She won't give the thought fighter runner voice, and I'll never have to make a choice. I'll snuggle dulled in my complacency as long as I never have to look at me. Oh, me? Don't worry. I'm doing just fine. If you'll excuse me, I've got to go lose my mind. I'm anxious to see what's left behind. And that's that.
That was take 375.
So that's the Black City.
The Black Cat.
The Black
Yeah.
Cat. Excuse me.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Speak about that. What was the essence into understanding the Black Cat?
It came in at the middle of the poem, but it's kind of like, when people used to ask me like, how are you doing? And I never really knew how to answer that question when things weren't going great. And even now, I mean, I feel like it speaks to the entire book, where it's kind of like being a person and just, identifying who you are and becoming something different. Because I feel like that's a big part of what's happened here. It's like as Wayne Dyer used to say, I hit my 6, when it's like you hit the lowest point that you want to ever find yourself at, and then from that you move forward. So when I wrote the Black Cats, it was kind of like thinking about that question, how are you doing? And really answering it from an honest perspective to myself, so that I can learn that that's what I really feel, and then look at things a lot differently,
So let me ask you, what would be your advice for the little girl who grew up in the projects, who's deciding to write or wants to write, has aspirations on being a writer and being a poet? What's your advice to that little girl?
My advice to that little girl keep writing. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it for whatever reason sparks your soul. And, how does that go? The law of that which is alike unto itself is drawn. I feel like since I've taken the idea that what I had to say was important enough to listen to, I've taken that seriously. There have been a lot of people that have come around and they're like, when I heard that, or the way that you spoke that particular thing, it means a lot to me. And sometimes, especially if it's a little girl that's anything like me, you have so much self-doubt that you kind of like, oh, nobody wants to hear this, or you don't really do it with any type of enthusiasm. You don't think that it's important, but everything you have to say that comes from your heart is important, and the way that you choose to share it can come later. Just keep writing.
And the question that I love to always ask people, and I always ask a lot of the great artists that come on the show, Poetry Corner, to come on Crown Rules, and I always ask people this one question: does art imitate life, or life imitate art?
Does art imitate life, or does life imitate art? I would say that it's like the chicken or the egg. Like, art becomes life and life becomes art. It's just all about, how can you say what came first? The pain that uh that Basquiat might have been feeling, or the idea that what he had to paint was special enough to interpret in that way, So how do you answer that? I don't think I know, because I feel like for me anyway, whether I shared these poems or not, when I wrote them, they felt like something more than just rhyming or putting down something to impress somebody. They have a meaning. They're like people to me, just the same way that others might look at someone who is actually successful. They will look at their art and say, I can feel it resonates with me. I feel like a lot of the things that I've written, they resonate with me and with other people sometimes, and that's important to me.
I usually tell people when I ask the question and they give me their answer.
Hmm.
I don't think there's no correct answer. I just want to hear them. It's just a matter of the thought process. When most people, artists, speak from a place that I don't think that other people who are as artistic
Hmm.
can speak from. I believe that everybody is artistic and has an art value, whether
Hmm.
it's writing, reading, singing, jumping, painting, whatever. So I always
Yeah.
ask the question because a lot of times people can be artists and not experience that form of pain in their life, or it
Right.
may be vice versa that their art could be beautiful, but
Yeah.
they could be an experiencing ugly pain in their words.
Right. I,
Um,
I feel like we're all born creators. We were meant to create something. And the thing that we were meant to create is beautiful all in and of itself. And it comes with a tribe of people who are looking for that honest creation that you were sent here to do. Like when I look at people like Julia, I wrote a poem about her, Julia Dozier. I love that woman. But it's just, since I've known her, she's like a olive branch, and people like Rita Renee, Sharita, and King Atterbury. When I think about how they are and how, from their art to the way that they are as people, you can see that they're in touch with the creator. We are creators. We were meant to attach to the creator in that way, I think. So,
Sometimes you just gotta just plant the seed and watch it grow. You know
right.
how sometimes we plant the seed and we throw too much water on it. It may get too much sunlight because it might get
Right.
burnt. And those are like the
Hmm.
people that catapult to the top a little too fast. But
Hmm.
then it's sometimes it's the slow grow that's more
Right.
appreciated. And I'm quite sure a lot of us never imagined how we would be on this day in 2021. Like you never
Yes.
know what you do. All you have to do is plant your seed
Right.
and do what you need to do for yourself.
Yeah.
So everybody in the chat, remember hashtag Swillsweena, which is still up. We're gonna combine the last two giveaways to one. So this is gonna be
Okay.
the, as we would say, the grand prize. Make sure you put hashtag Zweena still. I would do it again. I don't think you guys have to do it again, but I did start a new giveaway thing. It's still the same hashtag, but
Okay.
so in order to enter, make sure you guys hashtag Zweena still. Make sure you do it. Nice giveaway. So so you're doing this the book release party. Where's this? What's going to be there, and how you going to do that? With I know everything's opening back up. Where's that going to be at?
Yeah, the date has been pushed back a little, but it's going to be at the Sweet Spot in South Orange, New Jersey. The date is still tentative, but whoever's the winner of this next prize will have those tickets
There we
in
go.
advance.
Entering. They entering.
Okay.
and
I want to
for
see
the
all you guys there.
and for those that don't live in New Jersey, with the tickets, if you can't get to the event for the book release, I'm quite sure that Zweena could figure something out where she
Yes.
could substitute the winnings if you win the giveaway.
Yes, definitely.
So we're gonna do the next giveaway. Okay, you guys. Hold on, hold on, hold on. See. All right, we got 9 people so far. 9 people. Make sure you put the hashtag in. Here we go. We're gonna draw. They ready? They ready, Dweena?
Are we ready? Yeah, I think they're ready. Aw.
Look at that.
Julia, there she is. Okay. Yes, that means you have to come now if I have to drive you.
Well, looks like somebody got to make a Jersey trip. So Julia won the second giveaway. I'm quite sure
Okay.
you and her keep in contact and work
Yes.
some things out. I appreciate everybody that
Thank
joined the
you.
giveaway. I mean, it's a new thing that they started with the giveaway, and it's kind of brings some type of interaction with you guys in the chat, and it's kind of nice knowing that we hopefully we have a lot of authors on the show. This is something that I personally enjoy, as well as the people in the chat.
Yes.
So let me ask you, what have you
Oh,
have
thank
you
you.
had the opportunity to sit back and be like, I'm an author? Have you had that moment yet?
Not yet. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm still pinching myself. I still want to because I was actually speaking with I've been playing with the idea in my head like why am I really doing this? Like why this now? And it's less I think to become a successful author and more to find a tribe of people who have traveled my journey in their own way and maybe landing at a place where they want to experience something similar to what I've experienced. Because it's more than just those are spoken word pieces that I wrote. And at the time, it was like I would never, when I wrote the Bitter Bitch Therapy, I would have never said that out loud to anyone when I first wrote it. But I felt it. And so I wrote it. And now here we are a few years later. And I'm more like, exactly. Yes,
Hmm.
we're tired. We do a lot and we acknowledge it and we're not angry. We just want some acknowledgement, but maybe we have to find it in ourselves and move forward, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So, you guys in the chat, I appreciate you guys. Any final thoughts, Dwena, that you want to leave us with? Um,
Yes. So, to anyone who is, again, interested in a signed copy of my book and those gift boxes that I'm going to be providing to the people that want it, can RSVP at my website, Edwina, the author, EDWINA, the author.com. And you can RSVP for those special copies yourself. You can also follow me on at Still Zweena on Instagram. Facebook is author Still Zweena, I believe. I'm trying to get a brand going. I'm not sure. But as far as the book is concerned, I really would like, I feel like it's free therapy. It's free. It's free, the therapeutic experiences that I've had that I would really like to share. And I would like anyone who purchase it or read it, or, it's also going to be available on Kindle Unlimited for those who have Kindle. It's available on the pre-order now. You can follow the same link and you'll be able to find it. Um, Once you read it, if you feel it, just that's the most important thing to me. I want to know how you're feeling about it.
and and and
Thank
and I
you.
know that I always try to say I throw a wrench in the game whenever I do a
Okay.
show.
Okay.
For the people that don't understand or know anything about the Arabic language, I know that it's written with a Z and it says Zwina Swill, but it's pronounced with a hard dhu. Dhu. It's like Dwena speaks.
Yeah.
Dwena speaks. So you guys may have heard me call her and be like, why is he saying it like that? It's not Zwina, it's Dwena, Dwena, like a dhu, dhu, like a dhu
Mhm.
sound. So
Yes.
it does mean beautiful in Arabic.
Yes.
So with that, you guys in the chat, appreciate you guys as usual. Remember
Thank
to like,
you.
share, and subscribe. And we're on the lookout for Dwayne, and we know that she'll will be back on the show as well as back on the Poetry Corner, which
So
the
will
Poetry Corner definitely will be returning soon. I know it's been long for the poets out there. I mean, even myself is like, yo, these Tuesdays can't come quick enough.
right.
Myself and King have talked about when it'll be coming back on, but it's like now it seems like the weeks are going by slower.
Yeah.
But when we're actually doing the show, they go by a little faster. So
Yeah.
appreciate you guys in the chat as well. Thanks for joining the show tonight.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Just want to make sure I say thank you for everybody that stopped by. I appreciate your support. And thank you, Quentin.
And you
Thank
stay on.
Okay.
Take care, and everyone have a blessed night.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Please continue to join us here for conversations on hot topics, interviews with special guests, and our featured programs such as the Poetry Corner, where you can hear dope poets from around the country creating that poet cafe vibe, and Crown Rules, our virtual book club on love, intimacy, and healthy relationships. Let's talk. We are everywhere you want to be. Follow us on YouTube at Let's Talk, Facebook at Let's Talk, and on Instagram at Let's Talk 1931. Have a suggestion? Give us a call at 570-795-4283. Or for business inquiries, please email us at ltalk5600@gmail. Let's talk. I wore to you, you wore to me, and we go together. Please don't forget to like, share, follow, or subscribe.